I lead US go-to-market at Jack and Jill. So before I actually go through the skill or the routine that I built, I want to just give you a quick background on Jack and Jill and the problem, because I think it's just very relevant. Essentially, with Jack and Jill, we're building two AI agents. Jack is an AI agent that works directly with candidates, so with people that are starting to look for a job or actively looking for a job. And Jack gets to know them, learns about their preferences, their experience, what they're looking for, and then helps them find a job, helps them apply for those roles, helps them manage the interview process, even helps them practice mock interviews, for example. And so Jack works directly with candidates to navigate their next career move. On the other hand, Jill is an AI recruiter. Well, that's our B2B product. That's entirely my realm of activity. So I only work on the Jill side. And essentially with Jill, she's an AI recruiter that works directly with founders, with hiring managers and recruiters to understand their company, the roles that they're hiring for, and then finds them the best matches from Jack's network. So we have over 300,000 people now in our network. I think we just crossed 207,000 this morning. And so this is a ever-changing number as we're adding more and more people every week. And so for us, we're building a PLG type motion with a sales layer on top of it. What that means is that it's very easy for someone to go into our website, go to Jill, sign up with their company email, and just start working with Jill to find their next hire, right? And the way we charge is also pretty unique. So we charge like in a traditional recruitment agency would, just cheaper. And what that means is that instead of charging a subscription plan or a per seat or usage, what we do is a success fee. So we charge 10% of the first year salary of the candidate that you hire through Jill. So that means that you can use Jill for weeks or months, hopefully not, and never pay for it because you never ended up hiring through Jill. And so because of this, we have this very unique sales motion that we need to build, which kind of brings this big issue, which is we have, top AI companies that sign up for Jill and start using it, but they're only interested in hiring for one role, a particular hard to fill role. And so they decided to sign up with Jill and see if Jill can help them on that end. On the other hand, we might have a very small company fresh out of YC, just raise a couple million, but going to hire 3 or 4 people with us in the next few weeks. And so this poses a very interesting question and really hard for us to assess at any moment who are our top companies to work with, because on one hand, a top AI company is a great logo to have, but a smaller company is actually going to hire 3 or 4 people with us. So we're actually going to make a lot more revenue from them, right? So it becomes this very interesting way to kind of assess which companies we should go after, which customers we should pay attention to, which ones we should let them go fully through the PLG motion, and which ones we're actually going to be actually doing a sales-led motion on top. And so with that, we have this interesting part, which is we build multiple automations and multiple enrichments, which means that everyone that signs up through our platform, through Jill, we enrich them with Clay. We built an ICP score with Claude, and this gives us it's a score from 0 to 5 that goes through multiple things. So size of the company, funding, open roles on their careers page, job title, location as well, and location of the roles that they're hiring for, right? And this is because we're actively building our communities and our Jack's network in London, San Francisco, and New York. So that's, for example, a big prioritization for us instead of a company that might be hiring remote in Latin America. And so with all these different criterias, we have this ICP score. And when this ICP score enriches a lead, it sends automatically to Slack, to one of our channels. And on that Slack channel, if they score 3 or higher, so if they score 3 or below, it's fully automated. Essentially, they go through this lifecycle marketing side that we built, which is they get a few emails from us here and there via loops, but mostly Jill works as our own SDR, keeping them engaged, helping them with the role, and helping them through the whole process. However, if they score 3 or higher, then we basically want to bring a little bit more of a human touch there and helping them out. And the reason why we do that is just because people sometimes sign up, but they don't actually complete the sign up. Sometimes they sign up, but they don't add a role. Sometimes they add a role, but they don't request an intro. And the way we work and our North Star metric is live roles. And so what a live role for us constitutes is someone that posts a role and requests an intro to a candidate in the last 14 days. And so because of this metric, we're always paying attention to every customer on a given day that is going through posting roles, requesting intros, talking to Jill, and actually moving the needle forward, right? And because of that, we have a lot of the same work every time, and it's just very repetitive. And one of the big problems that we have is that we reach out to a bunch of these folks that are 3 or higher on the score. We send them an email. We call them sometimes, and then they go through and just might use the product, might not use the product, might not reply to our email, but might go and sign in to Jill and use her, right? And so because of this, I felt that there was a lot of companies falling through the cracks. And so because of this, I wanted to build something that was 80% automated, but 20% personalized. And with that, I built this routine. So one of the things, and taking a step back before I show you this routine, one of the tools that I've been using the most now is called Town. Town is an AI personal assistant, and I highly recommend it because it's just been very powerful to work with. I traditionally use Claude for most of the things that I do on the day to day. I also use Cursor a lot, connected my Gmail there. I definitely recommend people to do that through Cursor as well. But both Cursor and Claude, they still sound very AI slop most of the times. And even with me creating skills, even with me adding more thoughts and feedback, it feels like there's still a bit of a lag in learning about how I communicate, how I talk to customers, how I usually follow up. And with Town, that was solved like in one day, right? I went through the onboarding. Town understood exactly how I communicate. He also understands things that shape throughout the journey. So for example, I just mentioned that we have, around 6 to 7,000 new signups every week for Jack's network. So that means that on every week, on any given week, when I mention our Jack network is 250,000, 260,000, 280,000, 307,000 now, right? And because of that, Town has been really good at understanding that number and kind of adding that to the emails, for example, which is very valuable because as our community grows, more valuable talent is there ready to chat with companies that are willing to meet them and interview them. And so what I build, this is basically a very simple routine that I wanted to show, but it's just so valuable for us. And I call it the weekly prospect nudges. I'll show you right here what it looks like. So they're calling it powers. It's essentially a routine. It's essentially a skill. And what I did was I created this prospect nudge power that every Monday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, I'm based in San Francisco, finds everyone that I contacted in the last 7 to 45 days who never reply and just emails me a digest tailor ready to send follow-up for each one of them. It doesn't draft anything. It doesn't send anything. What it builds is that it goes through my Slack channels because we all onboarded a bunch of customers on our Slack channels. It also grabs a lot of information there on the channels that I mentioned on the stage that they dropped off, for example. If they actually are talking to customers, it picks up all that information from Slack. It picks up from my granola, so it knows all the context if I met them since the last time we communicated with them via email, but they didn't reply to an email, but they scheduled time with me. So they go through my email, Slack, granola, and soon through my database. A lot of that information goes through Slack from HubSpot. So it's not perfect there, but it's still good enough. But I'm trying to connect it now directly to my database because the database provider that we use finally launched an MCP. So I'm really excited about that. And what it creates is very simple. So it sends me this nudge every Monday where it tells me a little bit more about which customers or prospects that I've talked to when they was last contacted. It gives me a little bit more of context on what happened. It flags some things for me and just sends me all of this digest. It doesn't create anything for me. And so I go through it every Monday. Sometimes I check our HubSpot. Sometimes I check our database information. So I just run it through Cursor most of the times. And I just understand if some of them have used the platform system, if not, what happened there, if they never got back to me, or if someone else on the team signed up. And then very simply, I could just go here. Rex is my townie. That's what I call it. So everyone in town has their own townie they can talk to. Mine is connected to Slack. So I talk to him like he's another colleague of mine that is remote. And then I can just do everything here in my email. There's also a desktop app that I can go to, but I mostly use it through email and Slack. And I just reply, follow up with these people. You can even literally tell the numbers of the ones that you want to talk to. Follow up. And what happens is Rex will just say what's going on and just creates drafts on my inbox. So I could just go there and approve one by one. So I can go through, add a little bit more information if I want, make it a bit more personalized if I want. And then what's great about it is that Rex learns from that. So the next time he's doing a nudge for another company, given the stage, given the situation, if he finds it very similar, then he already adapts to my communication style. And so it's just awesome because you just reply here, creates a draft email, and then you're ready to send it. And so that's just a very helpful way to like stay on top of all these companies, because I'm sure that everyone here that's worked in sales and go to market on a product-led company, product-led PLG company, it's just really hard to stay on top of everyone. And so this is just a very quick way to like give us all that information via email in a very easy, digestible way. Then I can grab and just like action right away. So yeah, more than happy to share that routine with you guys. My email is bruno@jackandjill.ai. I keep building more and more routines on my town and also on Claude. So more than happy to share best practices and what I've seen that's been working and what's not. Thank you.